What's up, YouTube? Hey, I wish I was coming to you under better circumstances today, man. But I want to respond to some of these comments that I'm getting for reposting what the President of the United States, tweeted last night. Okay, and I'm gonna go through these comments and I'm gonna respond from the heart instead of just typing to y'all, because I think we're talking past each other a little bit, some of us. I think we are taking our eye off the big picture. And I really want to unite the people who know how disgusting and how wrong and how abnormal what the president tweeted last night was. Okay, and I know it's uncomfortable to talk about. And this is why I'm calling on Coach Prime to talk about it. And people have a lot of feelings about that. We're going to get into it. I'm going to address all these. You can't see it because my phone's not focusing. And I'm not trying to call out people's screen names. But I'm going to go through these one by one because I want you to know where I'm coming from. If Coach Prime sees this, I want him to know where I'm coming from. Okay? And one thing that I'm going to say before I get into addressing these individual comments one by one is, if you feel a type of way about me calling this out enough to say something to me about it, but you haven't said anything to the President of the United States for what he tweeted, I got to ask you why. Why do you feel like you should say something to me about calling it out and calling for unified condemnation? Why you feel like you should say something to me instead of the man who is tweeting this like it's funny and he holds the highest office on planet Earth? And I'm not mad at any of y'all. Let's get this straight. I am mad at racists and bigots and those who enable them. And that's not Coach Prime. Coach Prime has a voice. We're going to get into these comments because these comments touch on, like, why are you putting this on Coach Prime? Why are you putting this on Shedeur? And I'm not. I am making a request because I know what side they're on. Okay, we're going to get into these comments and you're going to understand more, at least where I'm coming from. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, that's up to you. But I am going to explain myself, and I am going to make this video begging Coach Prime, begging Deion Jr., okay? And again, these comments are like, why don't you say something? That's what I'm here for, okay? Why doesn't this person say something? Why doesn't that? Why you want Coach Prime? I'm going to get into all of that right now, okay? So let's start with the first one of these comments. Let me get it reloaded here on my other phone. Okay, first question. What does this have to do with them? Eric just tweeted that we're at a new low. Exactly. It's a new low, and so this is a new playbook. These are unprecedented times. First comment, this got to do with them. What does it have to do with them? There's nobody more influential that I know of right now in the black community than Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur Sanders is talked about more online than President Obama. I think he's the only black man mentioned more online than President Obama. Now, is he a politician? Does he owe us to speak on politics? Would it be the best thing for his career? No, but these are unprecedented times. And we saw these are the same people who robbed him of $45 million, y'all. Y'all are acting like if he plays nice with them, they're going to stop putting their boot on his neck. They're not. They already robbed that family of $45 million. And what happened? The black community, decent people like me, we stepped up to support Shedeur. We buy his merch. The Sanders are good. The Sanders have so much intrinsic support that MAGA can't take them down, and I don't know if they realize that yet. Now, the whole NFL is run by MAGA. Just look at their donations. It's not a question, it's not an opinion, it's not open for debate. Just look at the NFL's political donations. They're like 4-1 to MAGA. So you're already playing with these people. I expect Coach Prime to speak out before Shedeur because it will affect Coach Prime much less. Boulder has his back. Look how Boulder voted. Boulder voted for Kamala. Okay, he's not going to get in any trouble with CU by speaking out. And the only people that he's going to offend are racists, are Nazis, people who support what that pedophile calling himself the president tweeted last night. We're talking about Donald Trump last night. Somebody just asked, what are we talking about? Last night, Donald Trump tweeted a video of Michelle and Barack Obama faces on gorilla bodies. The president of the United States. And you know who's not in the Epstein files? The Obamas. We have President Epstein. I gotta take a breath because I'm not angry at y'all. I'm not mad at anybody questioning why I'm doing this. I'm pissed off as a Marine who took an oath to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, at this draft-dodging, obese, pedophile, racist in the Oval Office. And I'm going through comments because when I posted about it this morning, people are attacking me for talking about it, and they're not saying anything to the president for believing this, for spreading this, for putting this out there. And I'm calling on Coach Prime. I'm going to be a fan of Coach Prime no matter what. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying, Coach Prime, if you don't say anything about this, then no. I'm saying, my brother, please. Nobody has a bigger platform than you. You are needed right now at this moment in history. And I am a well-off white man. And I'm not close to as well-off as Coach Prime. Coach Prime's going to be fine. The only people he could offend by saying something about this are Nazis and racists. But what he could do is galvanize millions of people to call for this man to be removed from office. It needs to be a national effort. It needs to be all hands on deck. It needs to be everybody, not just Coach Prime, not just white men, not just black men. Let me get into another one of these comments because it says, Coach Prime is a coach. He's not a political activist. Go ask Jasmine Crockett to say something. Go ask Charlemagne the God to say something. Go ask Trevor Noah to do something. Go ask Don Lemon to do something. What the hell is your problem, you fool? Calling me a fool. Go ask someone with a political platform to say something. Not a football coach and his sons are not political activists. And erase the word love out of your YouTube channel name. If you had love in you, you wouldn't do that to Dion and his kids. I have nothing but love for Coach Prime and the Sanders, and I support them no matter what they do. I have love for all human beings on earth. That's why I cannot abide a president tweeting blatant racism. And my brother who's writing all of this to me, have you said anything to Donald Trump? Because that's fine. You can feel however you want to feel about me. I love you. If you're my brother, if you love humanity, I love you. You can say whatever you want to me. And I hear you. And that's why I'm here to answer you. I'm not putting anything negative on the Sanders. I'm saying you men are needed. We need you. The country needs you. And I understand why you wouldn't want to take the risk to say what we all know is right, which is the president of the United States is a racist pedophile and he needs to be removed from office yesterday, a year ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. Let me finish this comment. Change your YouTube channel name to Hate and Division. That's what somebody's telling me. That's what you are causing. I'm causing that by saying, y'all, the president tweeted the Obamas' faces on gorilla bodies, and we should all, everybody in America, every decent human being should be talking about this today. You've become so numb and desensitized that you would rather get mad at me for saying, look at this racist piece of shit in the Oval Office representing us. Coach Prime, please. Deion Jr., please. But if you don't, I still love you and I get it. But nothing bad. I mean, they're not going to be able to mess with your money, okay? These people who would be triggered by you speaking out against Trump, the people who would actually be upset, they already don't mess with you. It's the people on the fence that need to hear. Real men who have always stood for what's right, like Coach Prime, take a stand because his voice carries more weight than almost anybody else in the black community. And all of these other people that this person said need to speak out, Jasmine Crockett, Charlamagne the God, Trevor Noah, Don Lemon, yes, everyone. I don't think those people carry, I don't even think Jasmine Crockett carries as much weight as Coach Prime does. And I'm requesting Coach Prime as a brother, as a human being, as a lifelong fan, as a man who knows what his heart is, to say, Boulder has your back, Coach. We support you. The people who would turn against you, they're already against you. They're the people who robbed your family of $45 million already. They already robbed you. So my brother, Justin Maxime, I haven't let your comment post. I screen my comments because y'all don't want to know what these MAGA people come into my comments trying to say. And this is my house. This is my little channel, okay? It's not a free-for-all for the worst people on earth like Donald Trump to be able to say what they want to say while I'm asleep and I don't see it and their post stays up. So I do screen my comments, and I'm going to approve all of these so y'all can read them. I haven't approved them yet, but Justin Maxime, I hear you, my brother. And I am not about hate and division. I am about love and liberty. And I see Coach Prime as somebody who can help expand love and liberty in these troubled times. And I am asking him as a brother. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm not saying that he should. I am asking him. I'm saying, my brother, please stand with us. Stand with Don Lemon. Stand with Charlamagne the God. Stand with Jasmine Crockett. Stand with everybody who knows that this is not okay. We need your voice, Coach. We need your voice, Bucky. But I have nothing but love for y'all, no matter what. Here's another comment. Why would you repost this mess? What do you have to say? I'm here to say it. The President of the United States is a pedophile. He's an enemy of the Constitution that I, as a United States Marine, swore to protect from enemies foreign and domestic. Donald Trump is a domestic enemy to the Constitution. He is a pedophile. He is a child rapist. And he is racist. And he proved that beyond any shadow of a doubt last night. And I know that Coach Prime has love for Barack Obama because I've heard him say it before. And I just know how I have been fighting this fight since I was 17 years old. That's why my channel is not buffs this, but my channel is love and liberty because that's what I'm about. That's what I stand for. And I support the buffs only because of Coach Prime. I only support the buffs because of Coach Prime. And I only support Coach Prime because of what a good man he has been my entire life. That is why I'm asking him to speak out, y'all. And he can say no. But I'm saying, Coach, I'm well off. They can't mess with my life. None of these MAGA people can mess with the beautiful life that me and Mrs. L&L has built. and I am 100 times less well off than Coach Prime. You be okay, Coach, if you say something. You be okay, Deion Jr. The community has y'all. These people, these same people already robbed your family of $45 million. Let me take a breath and see what Avanti is saying. I always appreciate Avanti. And Chocolate Thunder. Chocolate Thunder says more white people need to speak out about it, actually. 100, it is on, let me get this clear. It is on white men more than anybody. This is white men messing up the United States of America. Period. Black people didn't do this. White people did this. People who look like me did this. Every white man needs to be speaking out. And I'm saying they need to be. I'm looking at them and saying, if you're a white man and you have any bit of ability in your life, because some of these men have bosses who are MAGA and they have kids to feed. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But be creative, white men. White men, you need to do something. Black men, you don't need to do anything. This isn't on you. But we could use your help, especially if you have a voice like Coach Prime. So I'm asking, I'm requesting my African American and black and melanated and brown brothers, if you have the resources, if you have the voice, if you have the reach, we need you, everyone, but it's not on you. Let me be so clear. It's not on anybody but white men. So Heath Tracy, why would I repost this mess? Because people need to see that it came from Donald Trump's actual Twitter account. He really took the time to post the Obamas on the bodies of gorillas, and this is the president, and everyone who has a voice and is able to speak on it should be in the streets calling for that man to be put out of office today. And I'm requesting, I'm humbly requesting anybody, not just Coach Prime, but I see Coach Prime as the most influential black voice in America today that I know. He's the most respected, he's the voice that I respect the most, short of maybe Barack Obama. And him speaking on this would make a difference. And I know that he likes Obama because I've heard him say it before. So I know that he could influence the people who are apolitical, the people who say, I don't want politics in football. But this is why everything that's happened to Shedeur has happened to Shedeur. It's because of politics, y'all. Shedeur didn't get robbed because people don't just randomly don't like them. Those people are MAGA. I've been saying it. You can go back to when he got drafted. I was live streaming the draft saying these, and when they came to Colorado, my very first videos on this channel, literally the first 2 or 3 videos I made when I had 0 followers were, y'all know the people talking crazy about the Sanders Online or MAGA, right? I've been saying this whole time. And Coach Prime is not going to win or benefit anything by playing to both sides, in my opinion. And it's just my opinion. And it's just my channel. Avanti says that shit he posted was crazy, talking about what Trump posted. I mean, it was racist. Cray is a very nice PG word for despicable, racist bullshit. Garbage. That man is unfit to be anything of authority. He's unfit to be in charge of a team of janitors. And he has the nuclear codes. He's in charge of the Marine Corps. If y'all don't know, the Marine Corps is the only branch of the military that the president does not need an act of Congress to authorize. The president can send the Marine Corps to do anything that they want to without congressional approval. And you have an abject racist in charge of the most powerful military on earth right now. Avanti says it's such a racist thing to post. He did it on purpose too. Because even if you're not racist, you can look at that post and be like, yeah, that's going to be perceived as racist. How? There is no ambiguity here. And that's why I'm posting it, because Avanti, me and Avanti have talked in the past. Avanti, I know you're not that political, but you know I've been saying this about this man, about the people who come after the Sanders. And it's a problem. It's not a difference of opinion like how much should we pay in taxes. This is dehumanizing our brothers and sisters. Dehumanizing them. And I have to keep taking a breath and calm myself down, but at the same time, we shouldn't be calm right now, y'all. I mean, we can't be unhinged where we're not thinking straight, but we should be angry. We feel anger as humans when we know something isn't right. When we see a good or innocent person being exploited or victimized or dehumanized, we feel anger so that we will do something. We have an inner drive for justice. I'm going to get back into some of these comments, and the point of this stream was when I reposted what the president posted today and said, Coach Prime, please speak on this. Deion Jr., please speak on this. It's not because they should and I shouldn't. No, white men need to. It's on white men. This is our problem. I never voted for that piece of shit. But white men are the reason that he's in office. Black people didn't do this, but black people can help undo it. That is the point. Not enough black people turned out to support Kamala. And that's in the past. I'm not assigning blame for that. Coach Sapp spoke in support of Kamala, and Coach Prime hired him. So take that for what you will, even though they don't speak on politics. And I don't want y'all to misunderstand me. I have love for the Sanders and Coach Prime no matter what, but I'm just saying, man, we could use you. The people who are doing everything that they can on a daily basis to remove this pedophile, Coach Prime joining that effort would advance it 1,000 times, make it 100,000 times more powerful than it is. And so I humbly ask, I don't have any claim on Coach Prime's voice. Hell no. No. Whatever that man decides, I respect. That is my brother. I admire him. I know he's a good person. I don't question his heart. I understand why any black man in a position of power, I don't understand what they have to put at risk because I haven't been in their shoes, but I can try my best to put myself in their shoes and say, I know how much trouble this would bring into his life, but I'm saying, Coach Prime, these same people already robbed your family of $45 million on Shador's draft day. That is not even to touch whatever they have robbed you in your career. And these are the same people. I've been saying it from the beginning of this channel. The people who have a problem with the Sanders are MAGA. And so you cannot want football to be political, but then you can't really have anything to say when Shador gets robbed because it's politics. It's racism. MAGA is the party of racism. Not every MAGA is a racist, but all racists vote MAGA. Avanti says, you have been saying this from the jump and you have been right. Man, I've never been more upset to be right about anything. I don't want to be right about this. But I also know that I'm right, that if Coach Prime were to speak on this, that if Deion Jr. were to speak on this, Dukes the Scoop, Uncle Neely, a unified effort of the fam. And Coach Prime, let it be known, as a former Marine who is Second Amendment armed to the hilt, Coach Prime, I will be your second personal security 24/7 for free, my brother, with a rifle. I will stand beside you with a rifle. I don't, but that's not necessary in Boulder. And I don't even think it's necessary nationally, because even MAGA knows the level of overt racism that Donald Trump displayed last night is not sustainable. But man, he's flirting with it. He's trying to normalize stopping US citizens and asking for their papers based on the color of their skin. He's trying to normalize calling the only president alive not on the Epstein files. The Obamas are the only people not in the Epstein files, and he's putting them on gorilla bodies. And if y'all are mad at me for retweeting it, that's fine. I understand if you want to bury the dirt. But if you didn't also say something to Trump, I don't understand. Because I'm here saying we've all got to unite and eject this pedophile, racist, child rapist. And Coach Prime could help us do that. Does he owe us anything? Hell no. No. And I'm his fan. I'm his brother. I got his back no matter what. I would defend that man no matter what. But I have to also say, Coach Prime, if you know that this is wrong and you want to help end it, you could help end it. Your voice would galvanize millions of people who have been politically inactive. To say, you know what, we can get back to talking about tax policy. We can get back to talking about immigration policy when we have this racist out of office, when we have this pedophile out of office. Coach Prime could say that and it would happen, I believe. That's why I'm asking this man who I respect to put himself out there and to say, whatever you are afraid that it would impact you financially, it's not going to impact you with Colorado. Boulder has your back. We voted for Kamala. We hate Donald Trump. And it's not even close out here. We have your back. You don't have to worry about your job, Coach Prime. Endorsements or whatever, all I will say to you is you've already been robbed. Your family's already been robbed for $45 million by MAGA NFL people. All these NFL owners that are racist support MAGA. You can look at their political donations because they're public. And I already did a video on this. So Coach Prime, we all, in my opinion, have more to gain than you have to lose, but I respect you no matter what. And I'm calling on everybody to be creative and to speak out about this and to say, you know what, so many lines have already been crossed, but what that piece of shit tweeted last night, it should be the final nail in the coffin. And the only reason it's not is because he's made us all so desensitized by killing people in the streets, by running crypto scams of $500 million, pardoning drug dealers, while going into and upsetting countries to extract other people while he calls them drug dealers. But meanwhile, he's pardoning drug dealers who donate to him, making people involved with Epstein some of the most powerful people in government. He's made us all feel like numb. Trisha says, please, 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 everyone call your representatives and demand impeachment. At the end of the day, yes, everybody, please call your representatives, especially if you're represented by Republicans. Let them know that this is not normal for Republicans. Republicans are not a party of racism until Donald Trump. I mean, that's not true. But it was not. George Bush was never going to tweet pictures of the Obamas on gorilla bodies. And we thought George Bush was bad. Black Diamond says, thank you, brother, for calling it out. And they're also part of the NFL way before it was such a thing called MAGA. Exactly. All of these people are the same people. The MAGA party wouldn't exist without the billionaires of the NFL, the billionaires like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Rupert Murdoch. I don't want to leave any of these pedophiles out, man. You all know who they are. It's the same people who've always attacked the Sanders. Let me get to the last couple of these comments, because the purpose of this video is people who rock with this channel are upset that I'm talking about this. And the comments have the vibe of like, I'm telling Coach Prime what to do. No, never. I'm telling white men it's on us and y'all need to do something, white men. I'm spinning. The reason that I'm not posting here is because on my personal accounts, I'm 24/7. I'm out in the streets, but I moved to Boulder so I didn't have to live around these idiots. But now I'm in a position where I wish I was around them, because everybody here already feels like me. We have protests here. There's thousands of people in the street and all the cars are honking. Everybody supports. And that's great. That's why I live here. But I came from the deep South, and I wish I was there right now to be in these people's faces. And I need to do whatever I can as a white man, because although I never voted for this piece of shit pedophile racist, it is on white men that he's president. And I'm asking Coach Prime, just as somebody, you can go back to the beginning of this channel. My predictions have been right, including that Shedeur was going to prove everybody wrong on draft day. And to this day, I believe that he's going to end up in the NFL Hall of Fame. And I'm documenting this, and I'll be able to go to show it's right. But from the first videos on this channel, I said, y'all, the people, when they first came to Colorado, I know these people saying this horrible stuff about the Sanders online, because I was so excited when Coach Prime came here. I started following him, following Bucky, plugging in to the movement. And I started seeing racism like I hadn't seen since I came from the deep South at a young age. And I was like, whoa, Coach Prime is one of the best human beings on the planet. Where are these people coming from? And I started looking a little bit deeper, and I was like, these people are all Trump supporters. And you can ask them. I've said this from the first time I've said it. When people are like, no, they're not, I say, just ask them. When you see somebody say the worst thing you've ever heard about a Sanders, ask them if they support Trump. They don't hide it. Again, not every Trump supporter is a racist, but every racist supports Donald Trump. And last night shows why. And I'm reposting it to say, everybody, call for this man's removal. Call your representatives. Stop being friends with people who apologize. Anybody in your life who's telling you not to talk about this, who's saying, I just want to be neutral, I don't want to talk politics, they are trying to stay friends with Nazis and racists. If their job is on the line and they have to feed their kids, it's a different story. Some people have MAGA bosses. They have kids to feed. Y'all need to get creative. I'm not asking you to say something where your bitch-made racist boss is going to fire you. I hope you have a long-term plan not to work for bitch-made racists like I've done. And that's why I can have 100 times less resources than Coach Prime, and nobody can fuck with my voice. Nobody can silence my voice. And I'm here to say, Coach Prime, Deion Jr., this is not on you, but you could help end this motherfucker. Your voices are the most powerful Black African American voices in our country. And you don't owe us anything. You've been victimized and you've been robbed by these people. But for that reason, I'm asking you to be on our side. And not to get political, not to endorse any candidate in the future, but just to stand up and say, Donald Trump is a racist and all good people should stand against him. That would be my humble suggestion for something that Bucky or Coach Prime could say. And I keep leaving Shedor's name out of this because right now he's employed by those racists. He's one of those people who, if he says something, it will affect his job immediately. It will not hurt Coach Prime's job. CU would have his back. Boulder would have his back. Deion Jr. is in a position like me where nobody can control his voice. There's nobody I'd rather see than Bucky say, you know what? I don't get political, but fuck a racist president. It would galvanize so many people who think that politics don't impact them. Y'all know how many young men on the team need to hear their leaders stand up to this? You're on the Buffs because they have an NFL coaching staff, because they have a Hall of Fame coaching staff, because you want to be molded into a real man. And you're going to look at everybody that's there to mold you into a man, be silent in the face of the United States, tweeting what he tweeted last night. How you think that makes the players feel? Man, everybody we look up to, everybody who coaches us, they can't even say anything, man. They can't. So even if I earn this dream of an NFL player, I still don't have a voice. I could do everything in football and media and riches like Coach Prime, and I still can't say what I feel. But it's not true. That's how they want to make Coach Prime feel. They want to make him feel that he's going to lose generational wealth. But the community has his back. And that's what I'm here to tell you, Coach Prime. We will all lift you up forever. No matter what, you've proven to be a good man. You don't owe us anything, but please do not be afraid of these racist motherfuckers. Please don't be afraid to speak out against them because the community has got you. And you already know that. You know that, Coach Prime. You know that, Deion Jr. And I'm appealing to you. I'm not saying what you should do. I'm asking you humbly as a brother, please help us, even though we don't deserve it. Because the young men on your team deserve it. That's who deserves it. The 18-year-old young men on your team who see the President of the United States saying this, that's who deserve to hear a real man like you, Coach Prime. Not me. Not the generation who've turned this country over to pedophiles. We just have your back. But it's the kids, man. They need to hear every man in their life say, fuck that pedophile piece of shit. If he were face to face with me, he'd melt like the little bitch-made, spineless, McDonald's-made puddle of goo that he is. These racists only exist behind screen names and ski masks and Klan hoods. They don't exist face to face when you confront them. Black Diamond says it's going to take good white men to figure out how they're going to get themselves into politics. How are you going to get yourself into law enforcement? Because they have positioned themselves to rule. Black Diamond goes on to say, you have to understand my man Coach Prime gets 5 death threats a week that came out of Colorado camp. The death threats are not coming from Colorado. death threats against Coach Prime are not coming from Colorado. I mean, without having like internet sleuthing data right now, all I can tell you is just that, I mean, talk to any of the players who live here about how anybody in Colorado, Boulder is happy to have the Sanders. Boulder voted by a huge, Colorado voted by a huge margin for Kamala. I get death threats, not to say that anybody's death threat should be taken more critically than another, but, you know, I've been around Coach Prime enough, and I'm blanking on the name of his security man, which is messed up because he's a cool dude. He's always been really nice to me, really friendly. Before he knew who I was, he'd do his job. He'd say, "Hey, why are you out here with the camera? What are you doing?" And I tell him, "Hey man, I'm a lifelong fan of Coach Prime. I'm here to support, here to help tell the story, here to say Boulder's happy to have him." And you know, he knows that we're cool. But that man is about his business, and you see he never leaves Coach Prime's side. But there's people like me who would donate my time for free to stand beside Coach Prime with a rifle. But death threats are real. But there's nobody in a position to protect themselves more than Coach Prime, and that doesn't mean he owes us anything, but I'm saying for the kids in your locker room, for the kids in high school, for every athlete everywhere looking at how their coach responds to a racist president, tweeting dehumanizing things about one of the best presidents our country has ever had. For all of those young men, please, you don't owe me anything. You don't owe your generation anything. You don't owe politics anything, but you are a leader of men. And you have the voice and you have the platform to change things more than Kamala. If Coach Prime ran for president, he'd get more votes than Kamala. Coach Prime, run for president. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, man. I'm saying you are needed. And while I have no right to tell any man what to do, I can say you are needed, real men everywhere. People who stand for humanity, people who stand for love, people who stand for liberty, people who stand for equality. The youth needs you. Period. That's not me telling you what to do. That's just a fact. The kids need to see that real men are not going to stand for these bitch-made racists taking over our country. But if we don't all get creative, if we don't all say something, it's just going to get worse. And how can it get worse than how it is right now? But I said that 3 years ago, 5, 10 years ago. And it just keeps getting worse. So here we are. You want to see what worse than this looks like? And so me getting creative is, you know what? I have 1 degree of separation from the Sanders. 100, 1,000 different ways. There's 1,000 different people that follow this channel that have a direct line to the Sanders. So this is me getting creative and saying, Coach, you don't owe us anything, but your voice could help more than anyone's. Why don't you tell me what to do, Coach Prime? Why don't you tell us what to do, Coach Prime? Because we will listen. We will follow your lead. I believe if you put the brain that you've put into everything in your life into removing racism from our national, federal political policies, there's nobody who could be better at that than you, Coach Prime. I think, Coach Prime, for somebody who has as much confidence as you have, I don't think you know how powerful you could be politically. And in the past, I don't know if you knew how much politics really matter. But politics are why your son got robbed of $45 million on draft day. Why he got sunned by a bunch of racist pieces of shit. African Americans should own pro football. The NFL should be majority owned by African Americans. They're 80% of the players. But we just all accept that it has to be the NFL, that it has to be those billionaires. Why? Why? Because we've been conditioned like cattle, all of us, to think this is the only way. We have to play their game. Coach Prime, everybody would follow you to a new movement. You could be president. You could start a new football league. Team up with Colin Kaepernick. Team up with Jasmine Crockett. I'm spitballing here, okay? I'm saying you know better than me, Coach Prime. If you start to use that powerful, self-confident, creative imagination that you've used to propel you your entire life, I'll follow you. We will follow you. Man, maybe your calling is bigger than football. But I know those young men in the locker room need to see real men contrasted with the piece of shit pedophile that's calling himself president. I know that that's true. I know that the kids need to see who's who. And this is all from love for humanity. I just want to see a president like Barack Obama who said no matter what side you're on politically, our job is to make your life better. Our job is to represent you in government, no matter who you are. That's what Barack Obama always said. And now we have a child rapist putting that man's head on a gorilla body. And some people in the comments are mad at me, which is fine. You can be mad at me, but you better be more mad at the racist in the Oval Office. You can be mad at me for asking Coach Prime to use his voice humbly as a brother who has no claim on him, who will support him no matter what he does, but who knows how powerful and effective he could be. Asking as a brother, brother, lead me. Brother, tell those of us who want to do what's right how to get these racists out of our lives. Humbly, I'm asking, and you can be mad at me for asking. You can be mad at me for repeating what that piece of shit, pedophile, racist, calling himself president said, but you better be more mad at him. And if you're not, you got to ask yourself why. Why would it bother you that I ask people to take action about this more than it bothers you about what that man said from the most powerful office on planet Earth? If you're mad at us both, I got nothing to say to you. But if you're only mad at me and you haven't said anything against Trump, I don't take you seriously. With love, we can have this debate face to face. We can have this debate in the comments. I doubt this is going to be my last video talking about this, unfortunately. I don't know what to do, y'all. I'm trying to be creative. And again, this commenter, let me get back to these comments, who said, you know, go say something to Jasmine Crockett. Go say something to Charlemagne, Trevor Noah, Don Lemon. I will, my brother. I will comment on all of their pages, but none of their voices are as powerful as Coach Prime. And they're all already speaking out against Trump all the time. Yes, it is their job. And no, it is not Coach Prime's job. This is a time in history that's pulling us all out of our jobs. If I were to just stick to my job, you'd never see me on YouTube. I started my YouTube channel to defend Coach Prime against racist white people. Go back and look at my very first video ever. My first video on this channel was not live streaming buffs, anything. It was defending Coach Prime against racists. I started this channel to make it known that people who look like me do not support racism. I mean, people who look like me do support racism, but it's not all of us. And those of us who stand against it, who stand for humanity, who stand for love, who stand for liberty, who stand for equality and justice for all people on earth, have to make ourselves known so that these scum of the earth, racist pedophiles, don't paint the rest of us with their toxicity. And I'm not mad at anybody except for racists and Donald Trump, okay? Don't get it twisted. If you're mad at me for talking about this, I'm not mad at you. If you're not a racist, if you don't support Donald Trump, but you hate me, I have nothing but love for you. I'm not mad at you. I get it. It's got to be infuriating to hear white people talk about anything to do with racism. I get that. But I want to help, and I would follow a man like Coach Prime because I respect him from life. Charlemagne, Don Lemon, Trevor Noah, I don't have a lifelong respect for them. I don't see them as men who I thought were real men who stood on business my entire life. I appreciate a lot of what they all say, but I never looked up to any of them like I look up to Coach Prime. And knowing how young men look up to their coaches, knowing how these young men in the locker room will see the president's tweet from last night, and then will see the silence of all their coaches crystal clear, and know the message that they get from that is, no matter how high I climb in football, I won't be able to talk politics. And it's not true. And it hurts us all. And how does it actually impact good people? That's how Shedeur gets robbed of $45 million. That's why white people own the NFL when it should be African American player owned. African American and black people should own the NFL. They should own the NFL teams. What are we doing? We're buying into these racist paradigm. But I'm doing my best, y'all. I'm open to feedback. I'm open to suggestions as long as they are advancing the ball towards equality, justice, love, liberty for everyone. Equality. I'm not trying to lead people. I'm trying to help further the efforts of people who are already leading. And I'm saying, man, there's so many people who follow this channel who have a direct line to Coach Prime. And I know for a fact, something nobody is going to change my mind on, that there is no voice in this list of people we've talked about that is more effective and powerful than Coach Prime's. And I don't have any claim on his voice. I ask as a brother for help because I know what side his heart is on. I know the amount of young men who are 16, 17, 18, they're coming of voting age. And the Sanders speaking on this could change the midterm elections and the next elections. If Coach Prime ran as president, he would get more votes than Kamala Harris. They could change our country. And I don't know if he knows that he has that much power. As confident as he is, I don't know if he knows that if Donald Trump could become president, Deion Sanders could become president 100 times over, and he would be, like President Obama, one of the best presidents we've ever had. And I'm afraid that Coach Prime says, oh man, I don't know anything about politics. I could never do that. No, I'm going to stick to football. No, Coach Prime, you do because you know love. You know justice. You know equality. You know right and wrong. That's more than any of these motherfuckers in office know right now. You are more qualified to lead us than anyone. Please, we need you. That's all I'm saying. Amy Sue said Michael Jordan played to both sides. Yeah. Michael Jordan, you should be speaking out right now. Where are you at, Michael Jordan? I haven't even thought of you. But that is another man that I grew up thinking that's a real man. That is a man that I idolize. But he never spoke out on love, on building people up the way Coach Prime did. So I gravitated to Coach Prime and forgot about Jordan. I'll never forget being in my youth, watching him in his prime do what he did. I will never forget his achievements. But I forgot him because he just went off to live the billionaire life, which is his right to do. It's his right. But how many young men coming behind you are going to have that right if you have that wealth and that power and you watch the president dehumanize the only black president we've ever had, and you don't use any of that wealth or power to say anything? Maybe your generational wealth is safe, but what about your grandkids? If you're going to let this keep getting worse, do we only care about ourselves? Do we only care about taking what we got to the grave? And I can't preach as a white man. I don't want to preach. I'm asking for help. I'm asking to be pointed in a direction where I can be useful. I'm making it clear that I don't want MAGA people on this channel. I don't want subs from MAGA people. I don't want ad revenue from MAGA people. I don't want to fuck with MAGA people. I don't want them in my lives until they apologize for what they've done and say, you know what? I'm not going to be a bad person anymore. I got tricked. I got duped. I got swept up. I got brainwashed, but I'm going to change. I will call you brother. But until then, fuck y'all. Supporting, kneeling to a pedophile racist. And I don't fuck y'all, and I don't fuck with y'all. I just don't want the president of the United States to be an openly racist piece of shit, child predator. I don't want a country where we have a sport dominated by African Americans and black people and they don't own one football team. I want to live in a country that looks like the people who do the work get the reward. I want to live in a country where if you are the epitome of success in your field, you never have to worry about sharing your political beliefs because everything is political. You can ignore it like trash on the street. You can ignore it like dog poop in your house. You can ignore it like somebody vandalizing your car. You can ignore it, but it's there. And somebody's going to have to clean it up, or it's just going to get worse. Nobody wants politics in football. But politics is everywhere. It's just, when we watch the players right now getting ready for the season, and they're competing and they're training and they're pushing their bodies to the limits every day, That's not what they want. What they want is to dominate on the football field, because they want to dominate and what they want is to win. And what they want is to celebrate after a win. And what they want is to know that they're the greatest and they're the best and can't nobody fuck with them. That's what they want, but they do the things they don't want so they can have the things that they do want. And that's politics. We all clean up a little so we don't end up with an out of the closet racist pedophile leading at all of us. That's why we all do a little bit every day. That's why we don't ignore it. That's why we don't be friends with people who want to be friends with Nazis. That's why we don't let them comment on this channel, in our spaces. You think I'm going to let a Nazi racist come in my house and say whatever they want to say? No, for the same reason I'm not going to let them in my comments. We all need to start cleaning up wherever we can. Do you expect a little 6-year-old girl walking to school to clean up the trash? No. We expect the men to do that. But we teach the little girl, hey, if you do see a little piece of trash, while you're in school or something, you pick it up and throw it away. You're helping the world out. Politics is the same way. Everybody does a little bit. We don't reject it. We don't ignore it. We don't say that it doesn't matter. We just say, hey, I have the energy to help out like this. You have the energy to help out like that. Let's just all admit that we don't want to live in toxic waste and do what we can and make sure that at the end of the day, the trash gets taken the fuck out. And we got to take Trump out of office. Got to take him out of office. And anybody who has a voice to move the ball in that direction, I'm begging, humbly, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not telling Coach Prime what to do. Hell no. I'm saying the kids need you, man. I wish I could do it with my voice. But I will follow your lead. Anybody who has the means to lead. And I just know that Coach Prime does. I know that mentally and in his heart, he is superior to all of these people. I don't trust Jasmine Crockett's imagination more than Coach Prime's, if he were to apply it to this problem. I worry at why he doesn't. And if he's worried about income, the community has you. And he's got to know that. He already has generational wealth. If he's worried about his life, the community also got you. If I'm willing to be armed security for you for free for 24/7 until we don't have to worry about threats anymore, I can get 5. How many people do you need to feel comfortable walking around you with rifles, Coach Prime? Because we got you. CU has you. Colorado is not going to feel any type of way about you speaking out against this. So I'm just wondering, what is holding you back? Because I know where your heart is. I believe that I heard you call President Obama the greatest president of our lifetime. I might be mistaken on that. I know for a fact I've heard you speak positively on Obama. What is the difference between Donald Trump putting the Obamas' heads on gorilla bodies and them putting your families? What is the difference? Y'all are all good people. Nobody should be dehumanized. Nobody in the Colorado locker room, no Pop Warner player, no athlete in America should see their coaches be silent when the president of the United States is a pedophile and a racist. We owe our kids the contrast. Y'all know what kind of energy Donald Trump would have to Coach Sanders' face. You know that he could tweet that about the Obamas, and if today he was meeting with Coach Prime, you all know that he would grovel to him. Trump would grovel to Coach Prime. These racists fucking fold. When you confront them face to face, they only exist behind their Twitter fingers. They only exist behind ski mask and Klan hoods. But if real men don't show our children the difference between us and them, they're not just going to know that. They're not going to know that Trump would fold in the presence of Deion Sanders if they see Trump post this and Coach Prime say nothing. And that's what I know is true. Not what Coach Prime should do, what Coach Prime is capable of. What Coach Prime's heart is. Because he's told me. He's told you. We know what kind of man he is. He's the kind of man we need as a leader. We need you, Coach Prime. We need you, Deion Jr. You don't owe us anything, but we need you. You don't owe the kids anything, but they need you. And whoever out there is hearing this message, we need you to be creative. If you can't risk losing your job, if your safety is in jeopardy, we need you to be creative. We need you to cut ties with racists. Not just tell them not to talk about it around you. We need you to help tend the garden of liberty. And there are more of us in this country on the side of good, on the side of justice, on the side of liberty, on the side of equality. We outnumber the bigots and the racists by millions. But why are they in power? Because their hate unites them. Their hate and their bigotry brings them all together. And if they disagree on whether you should shoot people in the street, if they disagree on what exactly billionaires should pay for taxes, if they disagree on whether somebody should have the right to love whoever they want to, or if women should be in control of their own bodies, if they disagree amongst themselves on that stuff, they don't care because they unite around their bigotry. And those of us who believe in liberty, equality, and freedom, we all have a million different ideas, and we all divide ourselves a million different ways and let the bigots win. And Coach Prime is the type of person who can bring the left together around love the way that the right comes together around hate. And the amount of people that the Sanders family could bring to a movement of love would eliminate the bigots and the racists, and they would stop being a problem in our country. And that's my point. Not what anybody should do, but what the Sanders are capable of. And as much as we see the self-confidence, as much as we see the success, I still wonder if they really know how powerful they are. If they know that they could be the first family of the United States. And not to do it from status, power, all the wrong reasons that Trump had done it, to do it for all of the reasons why Coach Prime is coaching when he could be living the Michael Jordan life. Coach Prime and Carucci could be off on a yacht in the Mediterranean. Coach Prime and Carucci could be in a penthouse in Paris, Japan, China, Thailand, the Maldives. He don't need any problem. He's got generational wealth. So he's already coaching for the right reasons. Coach Prime, do you understand that the country needs a coach? Coach Prime, do you understand that the young men who don't play football need your leadership and wisdom and moral compass? In the same way that we could say these players need him as a coach, We would never say these players deserve him as a coach. He owes these players. No. But do they need him? Yes. Do they need more men like him? Yes. Does he have the heart of a servant, volunteer, leader? Yes. Does he know how powerful he could be nationally, politically? I don't know. Coach Prime, if you ran for president, you'd get more votes than Kamala. At the end of the day, you take that as you will. You do with that as you will. To the people who are mad at me for talking about this, if you're mad at me because it's so disgusting and you just don't want to see it in your feed, I hear you. I get it. But you got to be more mad at the person who holds the highest office in the world and says that from their heart. Yeah, Amy Sue, I played football through high school. My whole life, I played football, basketball, baseball, soccer, golf, ran cross country, was a Marine. And on all of those teams, if I had ever seen the president, we didn't have Twitter when I was growing up, but if I had seen the president post something like Donald Trump did last night and my coaches didn't have anything to say against it. Now I'm sure that coaches will have something to say in the privacy of the locker room. Not just Coach Prime, but many coaches, many white coaches will be telling their players in the locker room they feel about what Donald Trump said last night. And those players will hear that and they will appreciate it, but they'll be like, but you can't say anything publicly. Why does it have to be a secret, coach? Why don't you say this to the media, coach? You tweet about our recruitments every day. Now I'm talking all coaches, not just Coach Prime. This is all players speaking to their coaches, wondering why can't you say that this is wrong publicly? And we're going to teach them all about how the world works. And we can either show them that real men always stand up to this bullshit, to this bigotry, to this hatred, and that we don't hide it, we don't ignore it, we point it out, and we hold people accountable. And then we get back to business. That's what men do. You think I walk past a piece of litter out there in Boulder I can't bend down and pick up? What? Why? What is physical fitness? What is emotional fitness? What is intelligence? What is creativity if you're not using it to improve your world in some way? And there's nobody more creative whose heart is in the right place than Coach Prime. His intelligence is highly underrated. His emotional intelligence is grossly underrated. His ability to lead men of every age and ethnic and political background is grossly underrated. The country needs a coach like Coach Prime to be the antidote for the racist pedophile of Donald Trump. That's all I'm trying to say. Is that we love you, Coach Prime. We look up to you. We respect you. And ignore people my age, ignore my generation. Like we didn't, even though I've always tried my best, my generation has failed because the government has been taken over by pedophiles and racists. But think about the kids. The same kids that you're coaching for, Coach Prime. Kids that who will never play football Their life could be as positively, you could impact the lives of every child in the United States. I just want you to know how powerful you are, how respected you are, and that we would follow you. See, this whole video, AVR, why leave Coach Prime out of this? You might want to go back and watch the beginning of the video, because this whole video is about why I am bringing Coach Prime into this. And I'm humbly asking the man whose voice could literally change this movement more than any other voice. I'm asking him humbly, what was your name? Avril Lake. I'm not going to leave him out of this, because he could make a bigger difference than any other man in America. I am not telling him what to do. I love him, respect him, and follow him no matter what he does. If he never says a word about this, it doesn't change my love for Coach Prime. I am not telling him what to do as a brother in a movement to end racism and bigotry and remove it from all political positions of power in our country. I'm asking a man who I know his heart, who coaches for all of the same reasons that I'm asking him to speak on this. I'm asking Coach Prime if he knows how powerful he is beyond football, that speaking out about this and saying what I know would be on his heart, just the truth, whatever fear is holding him back, I believe is unfounded. And I've talked about that in this video. And I'm asking him humbly. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm not saying what he needs to do. I'm saying there's nobody's voice who could carry more weight with the people who have been politically inactive, with the people who, if they were mobilized to start putting a little bit of effort. And Avril, you have to understand, this is how Shedeur got robbed. Shedeur was robbed by MAGA NFL owners. None of those owners who robbed Shedeur of $45 million voted for Kamala. So we can pretend that we want to keep politics out of football, but it's like ignoring a dog shitting in your house. Ignoring is not going to make it go away. It's not going to remove the smell. It's just going to Coach Prime as a brother to just consider thinking differently about his voice than he has ever done before. Because I know all of the reasons that he gives for not being political so far. Last night should change things for everybody, in my humble opinion, that has nothing but love and respect for the Sanders family and would love to vote for a Sanders as president. He's a better man than any of these politicians. He knows more about anything than Donald Trump ever did. If Donald Trump can be the president of the United States, Coach Prime could be the president 100 times over. I'm asking a man I've seen my entire life be a good, honest, just man who comes from a place of love without letting anybody walk on him. That is the kind of coach that our country needs. That's why I'm bringing Coach Prime into this, Avril, for the kids in his locker room, Avril. Why? Because the young men see a president dehumanize black people, and then they see their coaches who they respect more than any men on planet Earth not be able to say a peep publicly. I'm asking for them. I'm asking for Coach Prime to maybe consider being, hey, Avril, whatever you just commented, it says message retracted. And I didn't do that, so I don't know what you said. I don't know if you posted something and then you deleted it, or if you posted something with a a word that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like, sometimes it will remove it automatically. So if that's the case, try to say what you said again without using any word that YouTube might automatically screen. Because on these live streams, YouTube has a built-in algorithm that basically filters certain words. So I don't know what you just said, but I'm here to talk about this. And you can feel a type of way about me. I gotta say hey to Miss Ellen now because she's just getting home. Hey, Miss Ellen now. I'm doing a little live stream, but I'm about to wrap up. So Avril, the whole reason I made this video is because people were mad about me bringing Coach Prime into this, and this entire video from the beginning has been why. I think I've said everything that I can say. And so I'll let anybody go back and watch the video from the beginning, and within 10 or 15 minutes, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from. And you can agree with it or not agree with it, but I've made myself as clear as I can. And the last thing I'll say before addressing anything in the comments that y'all wanna talk about, I've said this 100 times, but I'm gonna end with it. Coach Prime doesn't owe me anything. He doesn't owe my generation anything. He doesn't need to take my advice. I'm not telling him what he needs to do. I'm telling him what I know he is capable of. What I know that he could do for not just the young men in his locker room, but every young man in the millions in the United States who looks up to him. I don't know if he knows how okay he would be if he just said what he truly felt. How much the community would rally around him and support him and have his back. And I'm asking him to consider changing his policy of being apolitical. Not to endorse a policy, not to endorse a candidate, although I've said many times in the stream, I wish he would run because he's more qualified to lead people politically than any of these people that we have. I wish he would run for office. But I hope that he will start to think more about the same calling that he had to coach football. What if he's being called to coach our country? All right, y'all. I don't think I can make my position any more clear, but I will be back at some point to talk to you guys. I mean, as excited as I am about CU football, I'm 100 times more disturbed by what's going on in our country, and that's just what has my focus right now. And so I'm active on my personal social media, speaking out against Trump, speaking out against MAGA, trying to be as creative as I can with my voice politically. But I don't do that so much on this channel. I do it when I feel like I have to, in situations like what the president tweeted last night, because those pictures might as well have been the Sanders family. And I'm asking Coach Prime, what if he had tweeted that? Same picture of the Obamas, of the Sanders. Because it might as well have been. And the young men in the locker room need to see where real men stand. Young men everywhere need to see how real men stand up to a pedophile, racist piece of shit who would never say any of this to any of our faces. But they get away with it with their Twitter fingers, their ski masks, and their Klan hoods. But Donald Trump is mask off. And the only reason that I'm bringing Coach Prime into this is because I don't think white or black, there is a more powerful voice that could join the movement just to end MAGA because they're racists. because they're Nazis, because they're fascists. He doesn't have to endorse anybody, just say, and he doesn't have to do anything. But I know what his heart is, and I know that he's not okay with racist being the president. And whatever is holding him back, whatever is holding Deion Jr. back, whatever is holding Uncle Neely back, whatever is holding Darius back, whatever is holding Dukes the Scoop back, I'm asking them humbly to reconsider. Because just because of how effective they could be, just because of how meaningful it would be to millions of kids to see that if you do reach the pinnacle of success, you can use your voice. You don't just have to only make videos about the easy stuff, the fun stuff. Sometimes we got to show people how to clean up our neighborhoods, how to clean up our governments so that our sons don't get robbed of $45 million by these people. Because it's the same people. Go back to the first video I ever posted on this channel was defending Coach Prime from racists. Literally why I started this channel. So it's nothing but love, but it's with love. I'm asking my brothers out there who know the difference between right and wrong to take a stand however you can, be creative, use your voice in whatever way you can. We don't have to live like this. We do not have to have a president who's a pedophile racist. We all deserve better, and we all can use our voices to ensure that our children and grandchildren receive better. All right, y'all. It's love and liberty from Boulder. Much love.